still a bit of inequality, even though people try and deny that we are all equal.
Yes, in this area, I would say yes again, because what you find in Hackney, although there are certain areas that a lot of money is invested in, the general population that Hackney is known for were always kind of struggling impoverished communities, and areas where there was money were sort of isolated from the general area. So areas like Chisholm Park, Stamford Hill, Victoria Park, around those areas, everybody knows they're very expensive houses, and a certain class of people are usually to be found living in that area. But in like areas like Kingsmead, Clapton Square, Nesbitt, Bannister, Haggerston, Holly Street, Springfield, Wilder Estates, and there was an awful lot of deprivation.
They are trying to make London look more fancy, and because of it, a lot of people who can't afford to even pay their rent in council flats are losing houses because of it.
To it really, I mean, it's the bigger people, the richer people are just, they have more power because they have the money. So obviously, they have control over more things. They have more influence over people, and they can do things faster and in a more, I don't know, efficient way. I live in Wood Street, and in the past few years there's been a lot of projects going on, and the council wants to build more flats. There used to be a park right next to my house. They took that down, and now they're building a really big project going on there. They're trying to build high flats. And yeah, I think in terms of infrastructure, it has changed a little bit. Also, the roads, they kind of improved them, and yeah, it's getting better every year.
And Kingsmead, which was once an area that nobody wanted to go and live in, is now an area that has expensive flats in. You know, and from where I've always grown up knowing Kingsmead, I don't really see that much of a difference. Apart from, they've put in a lift shaft, done a bit of plumbing, there's not that much difference. But what has changed is the actual people, because the people that used to live in those sort of areas, they all wanted to get out. And at one point, people were even being paid to leave Hackney, and live in other areas.
Flats, but they haven't improved council flats, so council flats are still quite old and broken, whereas they've made new buildings that are for penthouses for quite high class people.
Depends on what perspective you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from people who grew up in Hackney, there's been a lot of positive changes, but those positive changes ain't really happened to them. What's mainly happened is they've built up certain areas, but those areas wasn't built up for the residents. They were built up to attract new people.
Now, some of those people, they would have been better off hanging on longer, and then maybe get a better payoff day to leave and have more of a potential for a good future. So it's kind of a sort of con. And as you find, at that time, there was a lot of violence being, I personally say, was being allowed to happen, to run the area down. Drug dealing used to go on in the area, prostitution, and to be honest, there wasn't really that much gang issues going on. But now, it's supposed to be a posh area, supposedly. And one of the main things that is detrimental to the area is the gang fight and postcode uses.
I mean, the way you know, the system's kind of like set up. You have manufacturers, you have retailers, and you have consumers. And you know, the majority of the people in the area, I'd say they go under the consumer category, which if you look at it as class, will be like the working class. The working class work and just consume. Middle class, they buy stuff and sell it and then consume. They're the retailers. And then you got the owner manufacturers, they buy stuff and they buy assets and hire stuff, hire people to look after it. So they don't actually do any work, but they've got other people working for them. So, I mean, that's the breakdown of how it is. Clapton used to be when I was growing up very small, Clapton used to be a kind of sought after area to actually live in. Then during the 90s, Clapton Hackney had troubles with, you know, the influx of drugs coming in and stuff like that. This created a kind of a culture around Hackney, and particularly Clapton. Now, I wouldn't say particularly Clapton, it's just that Dalston and Clapton were affected because they had kind of nightclubs in that area, and obviously during the nightlife when everybody's out and, you know, partying, that's when, you know, people who had their kind of disagreements with each other, who were selling drugs, would find each other at those venues or look for them guys at their venues because they'll expect them to be there and stuff like that. And so along this area called Clapton had a reputation. It was even dubbed as Murder Mile because there was more murders in this area than anywhere in the UK at one particular time. And there was a nightclub out there that got shut down because 3 of those murders happened outside the nightclub. The nightclub owner was blamed for the violence that happened outside his club, and none of the violence happened inside his club, but the politicians deemed it as a club that was attracting bad people, but really and truly it had more to do with what was going on outside of the club than it had anything to do with inside of the club.
In terms of inequality, I think it is not worse than it used to be before. It's way better. I think as new generations come, there's a better understanding of different cultures and where people came from, and people just get along better these days. They live together, they grow up together, so now there's not that weird element, alien element, as I don't know how to explain that, but I don't think there's a lot of inequality going on today. But there is inequality, as in, I don't know, there's like different parts where there is inequality between gender, race, but there are cases, there are a lot of cases where people face inequality.
Very much so. They face a lot of inequality. Rather than make those who are poor, give them avenues to kind of like have a better income, or educate them to change their lifestyles in different ways so that they can achieve more and elevate to, you know, higher or even a better income, I'll say. Yeah. They haven't actually done anything to them. They haven't done anything to them. You know, there was loads of schools around here. They closed down all the schools because the schools weren't fit. But then they used the same buildings to make a new school under a different name. And to get into those schools are harder to get in than when it was the old school. So, like, it doesn't really make sense to me. It's just really a gentrification of an area.
Yeah.
Real poverty is when you don't have the necessities in life.
So what kind of necessities are we talking about?
We're talking about like housing, food first, be able to feed yourself and your family if you have one. Then, you know, a roof over your head, eating, hot water, stuff like that. That's need. That's need. You know? I mean, if you can't afford clothing, if you can't afford these stuff, then I guess you're living with poverty. That's how poverty is defined. Just because, like, I got say an Apple phone or a Samsung, and I've got the latest one, and you haven't, that doesn't mean you're poor. That doesn't mean you're in poverty. Like, if you got a phone that works and you can text and do anything, it's a phone. Like, this is what I mean by the working class. Most of them are just consumers. So they feel they need all this stuff when they don't. And because they don't have it, they think they're poor. But they're not actually poor. It can be eradicated. But that will mean taking money from the rich. And the rich ain't willing to give up their money. So that's the only reason why it hasn't been eradicated. It all boils down to people's common sense. This is the common sense scenario. If everybody grab what you want when you get it, then there's going to be someone who's left without. But if everybody gives, then there will be nobody who's left without. That's just the common sense. But it takes everybody to think on the same page. The only reason why people do stuff is because they feel that if they don't do this, they won't get it. You think of someone who wants to go into crime, he's only going to go and shoplift because he just believes, or she believes, that there's no other way of getting it. But if they believe that there was another way of getting it without crime,